now on the CTV News at 5, winter makes a brutal return to Alberta. Plus, a court appeal by a former Lethbridge pastor is dismissed. And what musician Corb Lund is saying about his petition to outlaw new coal mining on the eastern slopes of the Rockies.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. The snowfall and heavy winds have led to some treacherous conditions on the roads throughout southern Alberta. After weeks of above seasonal temperatures, winter has returned. Carson Marsouk reports.
It was whiteout conditions across Lethbridge throughout Tuesday as winter weather returned. All roads in the city covered with fresh snow combined with strong winds led to challenging driving conditions. The City of Lethbridge says its snow and ice control efforts are operating under normal procedures today, and no snow routes have been activated. The snow and frigid temperatures come after nearly a month of above seasonal and at times record-breaking heat throughout January and into February.
What we really need more than anything else is those late winter, early spring snowfalls across much of the province to really give us adequate moisture for planting and for germinating some of those crops.
A winter storm warning was issued for Lethbridge on Tuesday. Heavy snow and strong winds are forecasted to continue into the evening.
Our energy levels have gone from pretty low to maxed out. Everybody is super happy. They're walking around having a great time, loving the snow.
The snowfall was welcomed with open arms at ski hills in southwest Alberta.
It has made our conditions fantastic. We have survived the warm spells, plus 15, plus 17, the rain, everything else. With our man-made snow, we've survived it quite well. But it was definitely spring-like. It was a little granular. It was definitely some pretty firm conditions on some days. Now with this new snow, we can mix it in and we just have fantastic conditions.
While the snow will ease into Wednesday, officials are reminding drivers to plan ahead and take plenty of time. Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, the city recommends residents download the Lethbridge Loop app to stay up to date on snow routes and snow removal information. And this is where we bring in Danielle Savoni to tell us, is the worst over, Danielle?
Yes, it is. The worst is out of the far south, but we're still going to have lingering flurries and drifting snow for the rest of the evening hours. So here's a look at the system, and you can see it moving out mainly up to the north and off into Saskatchewan. Just want to zoom in here so I can show you a closer look. It's out of Lethbridge, it's out of Medicine Hat. Again, we may still have a little bit of upsloping, which is air that's pushed up the mountains, and that could create a few isolated flurries here and there. What is here to stay, though, is this cold weather. It will be cold all week, especially for the next 3 days. With the wind chill, it feels like minus 25 in Claresholm, minus 27 in Pincher Creek, and it feels more like minus 29 in Lethbridge. Your longer range forecast is just ahead.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Now, the dropping temperature is creating challenges for Lethbridge firefighters battling 2 house fires early this morning. Around 2:30, 26 firefighters from all 5 stations responded to a blaze at Kensington Road West in the Gary Station neighborhood. Although both homes were lost, all occupants escaped safely and there were no injuries. The damage estimate is yet to be released. The cause of the fire, that is under investigation. Police are asking anyone in the area to review security camera footage between 2 and 3 a.m. for any persons or activity, and anyone who was walking or driving in that neighborhood. And if you witnessed any activity, you're also asked to come forward. Alberta's Court of King's bench has dismissed an appeal by a former Lethbridge pastor found guilty of defrauding hundreds of southern Albertans out of millions of dollars. In 2024, Ronald James Aikens was sentenced to 4 years behind bars for fraud and making false and misleading statements in a real estate investment scheme dating back almost 20 years. The charges stem from Aikens illegally collecting $35 million from 1,400 investors, many of them his own parishioners. A Canada-wide warrant was issued for Aikens' arrest when he failed to appear in court for a sentencing. After 9 months on the run, he was eventually arrested in Montana. Aikens was appealing his conviction and prison term. Both were dismissed on the basis of no merit. Well, sports fans across the country are glued to their screens as the Winter Olympics enter their second week. Locally, it has been a busy time for businesses helping fans show their Canadian pride. Quinn Keenan has more.
Bert and Max, Source for Sports, stocked up on Team Canada Olympic gear ahead of the Milano Cortina Games. Demand has been so high, the only Olympic gear left is a single hockey jersey from the previous Olympics.
For in stock, this is what we have left, one small little jersey, but there are still some available on our website at sourceofsports.ca, so it can be delivered to you. Might not be in time for the Olympics, but there are still some current jerseys available on our website.
Even as the games approach their final days, fans are still coming in looking for gear. Source for Sports likely won't see any more gear come in until at least the end of the month.
Especially in Olympic time, they always want the new latest jersey the players are wearing, whether it's the ladies or the men's. So we try to do our best to anticipate that supply, and we do our best what we can.
Bars and restaurants are doing what they can to cater to fans. The time difference between Canada and Italy makes it tough for fans to go out to watch many events. But Hudson's is offering lunchtime specials to entice potential customers.
We are seeing a lot of people come in at lunch and watch, so we're doing Olympics at lunch menu, and we have all the replays on, and if there's any games that are going on during the day, we always have them on.
This weekend could be a busy one for Hudson's. If the men's hockey team makes it to the gold medal game, the pub will host a watch party for the 6:10 a.m. puck drop. It would be the first time since Sochi 2014 Hudson's has hosted an event like this.
They're playing so great. I think the buzz around the team is excitement, and everybody's getting into it. So I don't think we'll have any issues if they make the gold medal to get a big crew of people out supporting Team Canada. And yeah, hopefully we celebrate bringing it home again this year.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Federal funding is being rolled out to help prairie-based businesses weather global tariff pressures, including one in Vauxhall. Columbia Seed Company will share $1 million to add a second production line aimed at doubling output of plant-based food ingredients and expanding exports. It's part of almost $6 million being allocated through the Regional Tariff Response Initiative. The federal government program is aimed at helping exporters and manufacturers adapt to shifting global trade conditions by strengthening domestic capacity, securing supply chains, and opening new markets.
With this new global reality, we can't afford over-reliance on one country, on a single market, a single trade corridor, or a single supply chain. We have to adapt.
Now, in order to qualify for the federal grants, companies must demonstrate they have been adversely affected by tariffs. The grants are paid out only after the companies make investments to strengthen their operations. Country singer Corb Lund's petition effort to outlaw new coal mining on the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains has been given the go-ahead to gather signatures, and those behind the movement have 4 months to collect just shy of 178,000 signatures. The petition calls for the government to introduce legislation prohibiting any new mining activity for coal in the region. If successful, the province would then pass a coal mining ban or send the issue to a province-wide vote.
The whole 6 years, what the government's tack on this has been to say, oh, okay, Alberta, we've heard you. We understand your concerns. We'll fix it. And then they don't fix it. They leave big loopholes in it. So we've worded our question extremely specifically to make sure that we include Grassy Mountain and any coal projects on the slopes of the Rockies, because it's a terrible idea economically and ecologically.
Lund is set to speak at a signing event in Calgary, which is taking place at the Alexandra Centre Society in Inglewood on the 21st, and another takes place the night before in Lethbridge. A new poll shows most Albertans think that private education is higher quality than public education, but they say they're against funding for private schools. Angus Reid reports that 77% of Albertans want public funds to go to public schools, but that there should be more options for students. Respondents believed private, charter, and religious schools are taking resources away from the public system. The exception is for schools with students with special needs, who are supported by 66% of respondents. You can learn more about the poll at angusreid.org. And a petition by a Calgary teacher to cut government funding to private schools in Alberta has failed. Just over 124,000 people signed the petition, which did not meet the 177,000 threshold needed to be collected in 120 days. Education Minister Dimitrios Nicolaides has said cutting private school funding would put pressure on strained public schools, while the petition application stated diverting dollars set aside for private schools would alleviate issues in the public system. Many young Alberta parents continue to be predictable. Noah and Olivia are still tops when it comes to baby names. For the 7th year in a row, Noah is the top name for boys. 259 Noahs were born in Alberta last year, right behind them, and likely confusing school teachers. 6 years from now are Theodore, Oliver, Henry, Jack, and Lucas. For the 13th year in a row, Olivia is the most popular girl's name in the province, with 173 of them taking their first breath in 2025. Just behind them are Amelia, Emma, Sophia, Charlotte, and Violet. Of course, there are several unique names among them. 3 boys are named Swade, and 21 are named Stetson. The Alberta Birds of Prey in Coaldale has received its largest ever government funding contribution. The province is giving $1 million to the foundation under its Alberta Community Facility Enhancement Program. The money will go towards the creation of its $3.5 million environmental learning centre. The space will feature 2 floors of multi-purpose presentation and event rooms with a capacity of more than 200 people. The centre will also expand visitor space by over 25%. The space is expected to be complete by 2028. Danielle is back with a full look at the forecast on the other side of this break. Plus, we look at a new study that identifies several key risk factors in children developing food allergies.
Well, this about sums up the day, doesn't it? Doesn't even matter which way it's facing. It is facing southwest. But this is really what we're looking at out there. We've had some really treacherous conditions. We talked about it being for today especially. It's going to start to get better and better as we go, but we're holding on to the cold for days. In fact, it's cold all week. This is a colder air mass that's settled in, and it's going to get pretty comfy. Minus 26 is what it feels like in Claresholm with the wind chill. It feels more like minus 27 with that lovely wind chill in Pincher Creek, minus 28 in Lethbridge, and minus 26 in Medicine Hat. So certainly a bite in the air. It's going to feel even colder tomorrow. All right, so we've had the snow and we've had the wind gusts. The wind gusts maxed out at 80 in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat as well, closer to that 70 mark in Calgary and Brooks. So again, further east, the gustier it was. We talked about that being the story for today and why the blowing snow and drifting snow was a huge potential with this. Certainly the case. We actually just had the warning drop in the Lethbridge area. Just moments ago, there was a winter storm warning in place. That is now dropped. We're going to see all these warnings drop over the next little bit here because this system, the core of it, is now out of the way. We're still going to have residual flurries out there, and blowing and drifting snow will still be an issue, especially closer to the Saskatchewan border. But as you can see, this main part of the system is on its way and pretty much out. And that's why just residual flurries are what's the story for us going into the evening hours. So here's a look at 6:30, just a few flurries possible in the Medicine Hat area. And then by the time we get into 9:30 tonight, it's completely out of the way. We will potentially have a few more flurries tomorrow. So a lot of cloud cover tomorrow, cold tomorrow as well. And then especially in the afternoon hours, up towards Pincher Creek, Crow's Nest Pass, and Lethbridge, we may see some isolated flurries. Nothing significant, nothing like what we just had, but again, a couple snowflakes possible. We're not looking at adding any more totals, as you can see here, for the rest of the day. 0 expected in Pincher Creek, Lethbridge, Milk River, but for Medicine Hat, Brooks, Tabor area, we could still tack on another centimeter or 2 before we are fully said and done this evening. Okay, overnight tonight in East Kootenay, minus 11 with a wind chill of minus 14. And then tomorrow you're looking at a wind chill of minus 16 at times throughout the day, mainly cloudy skies. As we pop over to Crow's Nest Pass, a wind chill of minus 31 overnight tonight and minus 32 at times tomorrow. Again, we have that potential of some isolated flurries, especially later in the day. For Medicine Hat, we have the chance of drifting and blowing snow for the next couple of hours, but then that really clears out for tomorrow. We'll still have the cloud cover, a wind chill of minus 30 at times throughout the day, so it will certainly be cold and frostbite is possible in less than 15 minutes. All right, for Lethbridge tomorrow at times, the wind chill of minus 32. Again, later, closer to the supper hours, especially, chance of a few flurries. A high of minus 20, which will feel well into the minus 30s at times. And then still cold for Thursday, Friday, and even on the weekend, still those minus double digits.
A new study out of McMaster University identifies several key factors in children developing food allergies. Pauline Chan explains.
Eggs and milk are known to be common allergies early in a child's life.
Those tend to resolve by about age 6 to 8. In most individuals, about 80%.
But for the other 20%, food allergies can continue to pose a lifelong threat. McMaster researchers have been looking at 342 risk factors for babies developing food allergies.
International data, over 40 countries, and 2.8 million participants in 190 different studies.
They identified 4 factors as the most important: a family history of allergies, eczema as a baby, delayed introduction of common allergens such as eggs, peanut, or fish, and early use of antibiotics. Dr. Derek Chu says in some cases, antibiotic use in babies is essential, but in borderline cases, families and physicians should be aware it could be a factor in developing food allergies. Chu also says eczema is like a window to the immune system and an early indicator of a sensitive immune system.
What's showing in our studies that if you delay food allergen introduction, it actually increases the risk quite a bit, and consequently, if you introduce early, might protect.
Food Allergy Canada says this publication confirms that food allergy development in children is influenced by multiple factors. Early introduction and continued inclusion of allergenic foods, central to our Eat Early, Eat Often guidance, has shown promising results in reducing food allergy risk. Their website offers guidelines to introduce common allergens, like milk and eggs, to babies between 4 and 6 months of age, in the form of yogurt or mashed boiled eggs, for example, and make sure you keep them in your child's regular diet.
Risk factors are just risk factors. That means it's not a guarantee.
But he says being aware of them can allow us to monitor and tailor allergy prevention efforts for each child. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5. Add another one to Canada's medal count at the Winter Olympics. Sports is next. The Lethbridge Hurricanes had a rare Monday afternoon matchup yesterday. They were up Highway 2, taking on the Edmonton Oil Kings. Midway through the first, some nice passing sets up Carter Sutherland for a goal to give Edmonton the 1-0 lead. Early in the second, and Sutherland pounces on a rebound for his second of the game, making it 2-0. Late in the period now, and Gavin Hodnett fires a rebound to make it 3-0 Oil Kings. In the third, Lethbridge would respond. Kyle Hager would start on a breakaway after grabbing a turnover, then converts on the other end to make it 3-1. Late in the period, Owen Berg spins and fires off a rebound to make it a 1-goal game. The Canes would push late, but that is as close as they would get. They lose 3-2. Teams across the BCHL also hosted Family Day games to take advantage of the holiday. Here's how some local teams made out. It was a very good family day for the Brooks Bandits. After Okotoks scored first, Brooks took control and never looked back. They sent the fans home smiling with a 7-1 win. Wasn't as fun of a day for the Cranbrook Bucks. The Bucks went down early, and a strong second period could not save them. The Bucks would lose to the West Kelowna Warriors 5-2. Canada wins repeat gold in speed skating team pursuit, bringing Canada's medal count to 12. CTV's Scott Hurst has the latest.
Canada is golden again. This is our third gold medal at the Milano Cortina Olympics. This one coming in speed skating, the women's team pursuit. In fact, the reigning Olympic champions from Canada defended their title in the event. The incredible trio of Yvonne Blondin, Valérie Maltais, and Isabelle Weideman beating a team from the Netherlands in the final, and earlier in the day beating a team from America. Now, all three of these skaters are highly decorated, of course, as a team, but also on their own. Isabelle Weideman won 3 medals during her second Olympic appearance at Beijing 2022. Yvonne Blondin also winning 2 medals at the Beijing Olympics. Valérie Maltais now has 4 Olympic medals to her name throughout her storied career. She has competed in every Olympic Winter Games since Vancouver 2010. This trio, as I mentioned, reigning Olympic champions. They won the gold medal in an Olympic record time at Beijing 2022 and now defending their title 4 years later. As I mentioned, this is now Canada's third gold medal at the Milano Cortina Olympics. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
The Canadian women's hockey team will meet its arch rivals, the U.S., again for the gold medal. Canadians won their semi-final game against Switzerland with a final score of 2-1. Team captain Marie-Philippe Poulin adding to her legacy, becoming the tournament's all-time leading goal scorer with 20 goals scored in her career. Canadians will play the U.S. Thursday morning at 11. Switzerland will play Sweden for bronze. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we look at some of the unsung heroes of the Winter Olympics, the volunteers. Volunteers don't win medals, but they are true ambassadors of the Olympic spirit. Thousands of them are currently working at the Games in Italy, a global force of people who bring a unique energy to the event. Here's Heather Butts.
Anywhere you look during these games, you'll spot this colorful uniform, part of a small army, 18,000 volunteers spread across venues in northern Italy. This group keeps the Olympics running smoothly around the clock.
It was an experience that I couldn't miss out of.
Most of them proud Italians, like Giulia Rostelli.
It's really more powerful if we put a lot of countries together and all the stories together. It becomes something unique. It's something that I'm giving, but I'm also getting a lot more back. So it's an exchange that I would suggest to anyone to experience in their own life.
Volunteers are behind every Olympic medal ceremony, competition, and spectator experience.
I think they are essential. They're really at the very heart of the games. And what brings the most is basically the enthusiasm.
A tradition, volunteers have been part of the games since 1948. A diverse group, they are often the first and last people athletes and fans encounter.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Grazie. Good night, Americans. Good night, Canadians.
They're not just from the host country. Roughly 2,000 have come from abroad. That includes Claire Provost, a Montrealer who once dreamed of being an Olympic ski racer.
It is a different experience for sure, but of being an athlete and like being a volunteer. But it is still a dream come true for me to come to the Olympics and participate to it and help out.
We caught up with Provost and her fellow volunteer from the U.S. between shifts at the hockey arena.
Before we got here, we got like a Zoom call, and they said, yeah, you're going to be shots on goal. I was like, what? Okay, sure. Fun.
Part of the vast workforce who answered the call, willing to give time and energy. Now they belong to a community that goes beyond sport.
How many people can say that they have friends that they met at the Olympics? Like, that's it's really cool.
As the competition rolls on, the spotlight will stay focused on medal counts and memorable performances. But it's the dedication of volunteers that will help ensure the Olympic spirit remains part of this legacy long after the Games. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan, Italy.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.